everyone, it's Margaret with Creative Stamping with Margaret. Thanks for joining me. Today's card features the Poppin By Bundle from Stampin Up. This is an online exclusive stamp set. If you are interested in purchasing this set, you'll find a link in the description of this video. Let me move this to the side. So this is the card that we're going to make, just a cute popping in to say hello card. And this is one of the cards from the July card class. So if you ordered a kit to go, you're going to receive the materials to use to create the card. You just need to provide your inks, adhesives, and the stamp set. Other materials that we're going to be using, the card base is real red. We have our white panel for the interior. We have a strip of the real red. That's our layering panel for our sentiment. Plus we have a strip of basic white for our sentiment. We're using the Mixed Media Floral Designer Series paper, the black and white pattern, as our background. You could select any black and white pattern that you want, or even a solid black piece that you maybe texture emboss would also look very nice. We have our layering panel for the basic white panel that we're going to stamp with the different popped corns and the words pop. There again, if you prefer, you could also just use a designer series paper in Lemon Lolly. That's the color I've used, or Daffodil Delight would work as well. You could find a designer paper that has a muted background that would look good. You're going to need a scrap of white to stamp the popcorn bucket on, and you'll need it large enough because we're going to stamp the image twice. And then a scrap of basic black to die cut the glasses and the shoes. And I just have this scrap. It's been in my files for a while that has adhesive sheet on the back, so I thought that would be good. The inks that we're going to be using, I'm using Memento Black, Lemon Lolly, and Real Red. The stamps from the set, the pop. There's 3 different popcorns in there. I opted just to use 2 of the designs. Then, of course, our sentiment and the bucket. So let's get started. First, let's assemble our card base. I noticed I did not score my card base, so I just quickly did that. We're going to fold and burnish our edge. Let's move these to the side. Of course, our envelope I also embellished with those popcorn. See, do I have? I picked up one that has I have a couple of the Stampin' Seal, and they're getting low on adhesive, so I need to change those out soon. Needed to make sure I picked up one that had adhesive in it. I am a popcorn lover, so when I saw this set, I knew that I wanted to get it because there were so many things that I think you could do with it. Make cute little popcorn holders. I made a popcorn sleeve in the past, which I will do a video on that and post that shows how to make the sleeve. And then, of course, I just use the stamps to stamp popcorn pattern. And so forth. It was really cute. Be great for craft sales. So now we have our layering panels. Let's do some stamping. One other important thing that I forgot to mention that you need to have handy is also have stamp cleaner, a chamois or some other stamp cleaner nearby, because you will be needing that. So the first thing I'm going to do is stamp our background panel. And I have not done this yet, but I may go back and trim along because this has quite a bit of excess rubber. So just take care, look at your stamp, and I'm going to check this before I stamp. See, I just lightly tapped, but I have ink there, and I'm notorious for pressing down a little too hard, and then I end up with the little shadows. So I have a little towel that I just wiped that off with, and we're just going to randomly, well, I didn't do very good on that, did I? Randomly stamp. We'll do the same with our other little popped corn. I need to make sure I'm inking these. Maybe I'll put one more down here. And then I'm going to come back with the word pop and just do some random stamping with the word pop. See, I have my little shadow, but we're gonna go with it. We're not going to change that. I'll see if I can come up with a way to cover that. And I know what I'll do. I will pull in and just look at that. You'd never know it. Let me clean these, or else I will have a mess sticking my hands in them. We can attach that to the front panel, and then we get to do the fun part, which is making our little popcorn bucket guy. And on my sample, you will see on the inside, and I typically try to not attach my inside if I don't know what sentiment I'm going to put in there. Since this one says popping in to say hello, I may just leave it blank to write a note like I have done. Although there is the no one's better than you would be cute in there too. But I'm not going to do the interior or the envelope, but you get the gist that you can just embellish the inside as you would like. So now we're going to pull in our popcorn buddy, and you will need Real Red and Lemon Lolly, and I recommend you start with the Lemon Lolly first. So we're going to ink up our little popcorn bucket. And you can just do this on a scrap, but I will have about an approximate size that you would need for stamping in the supplies and cut dimensions of the card in the description of the video. So now we're going back with red, and we're going to stamp the red popcorn bucket. And in the die set, there is one die that will cut the bucket. Plus, there are the little eyeglasses and the shoes. And to save time, I have already pre-cut those, but what you would do is just, lay these out, run it through your die machine, and then you're going to get these cute little glasses and the 2 shoes. The nice thing is the shoes are one die, but when they cut, it cuts the separate pair, because that would be such a small die. I would surely lose it. So then you're going to we'll line this up. Let me get a bit of tape here to hold that in place. We'll prep that, and then you'll run that through the die cutting machine. You'll cut the lemon lolly and the red, and when you do, of course, we will have our two pieces here, and you will need to grab your snips or your little scissors, whatever favorite little scissors you have. And since I wanted our bucket to be red, I need to trim off the red popcorn. And this is very easy to trim. You just sort of follow that curved shape. So now we have our bucket. And then you could layer these on top of each other. I just thought it made it a little too bulky. So what I did is I just sort of trimmed the bottom half of that bucket. I don't need that. And then I'm just sort of shaping the side there. And then just align that so that those pieces are there. And for that, I'm going to grab some multi-purpose liquid adhesive and put it on that. That just gives me a little bit of play to make sure I get that aligned. Oops, I see I left a little red. Didn't quite trim that enough. There. There. That's better. Now we'll just, let's just flip it. Now we'll just line the sides up where it goes down, the angle, and there we have our popcorn. And I didn't do a very good job trimming that because I have a little piece now of the red, but I get too picky sometimes on things, little stuff like that. Now we'll add our eyeglasses and shoes to our bucket. I just think this is the cutest little image with the glasses and then those big shoes on the feet. Of course, you could leave these off and just use the bucket or just use the glasses, but I thought it was cute with both of them. So now we have our little bucket guy ready. So we'll put that to the side while we do the sentiment. And I used Tuxedo Black to stamp the sentiment, and I stamped it off closer to the right side so I could leave room for my bucket guy. Well, that stuck and it's smeared. Let's flip that and try it again. I know what it is. I'm using that, and that has a little adhesive where I have glued. So if I use it as such, that should be better. Much better. And I just used regular adhesive. I did not pop that up on dimensionals, but I did, after I layered it, I used dimensionals to add it. I see my hello stamp must have gotten knocked, so it's not exactly straight, but like I said, I get a little picky on some of these, but it's only because I look too closely at it when I'm making them. Once they're done, you really don't even notice some of those little mistakes. And remember, it is a handmade card. That's what we need to remember to tell ourselves. And then this aligns evenly with the edges of the designer series paper. And I put that about 1/3 of the way up. And then you'll want to put dimensionals behind the popcorn, and then part of a dimensional or a little mini dimensional at the lower. But he is laying flat across the sentiment panel. I did not want it to be too high, and I'm just going to cut a little piece of dimensional to put at the lower section. So there, we have completed the front of our Popping In to Say Hello card, which features the Poppin By Bundle from Stampin Up. And this is Margaret Knight. Thanks for joining me. Be sure to look in the description of the video to get all of the cut dimensions and materials used for this card. And if you have a moment, just reach up there and hit that little like. And if you've not signed up to receive notifications of new videos, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Thanks. Have a great day.